When Mark Benioff started Salesforce, he had this idea in '99 to put a program in place that would help the community, and it's called 111. And that means it gives 1% of the company's revenue, 1% of the company's software, and 1% of the employees' time to nonprofit organizations that could benefit from our help. So when he started off, it was easy. Now we're 75,000 employees, and we're about 10 billion in revenue, so it's a lot of money. We have a separate organization that handles all of our philanthropy. It's called .org. So there's Salesforce.com, and then it's Salesforce.org, which manages it. Now the good thing is that there are organizations that come to us that need our help. So for example, in Germany, there's one. I don't know what you call it in English, but like when you donate your bone marrow, because people have cancer, they have, right?
Leukemia.
So we basically help them, gave them the software, set them up, get them along, because a lot of times these nonprofit organizations don't have an IT department. They can't afford services to implement it. So that's where my team comes in place. So we have those 7 days a year where we can give back. And so because we know the software, oftentimes what we do is take one of these nonprofits and help them with the project for free. So they get free resources, and they get our free software. So we help them get up and running. And so it's something that's encouraged. A lot of companies have this, but they don't really live it. But we live it, and it comes from the management. And we have reports about how many hours people have donated. People can even go above the 7 days. You can pick these nonprofit organizations. We have like a database, or what you also can do is, Mark always says, we're all doing well, we're healthy, we're lucky. So you can also pick something in your community. It's not something in your community where you want to give back to old people, or maybe there's young children who need to learn how to use a computer, or it could be things also picking up trash, just going to a beach and picking up trash. So we have all different types of programs that we do, and have this individual development plan. And I had on there, one of my dreams was to take my bike and ride over the Alps. And I also told him about Interplast, which was my organization, my charity that I've been looking after for 5 years. And he gave me the great idea to combine the two. And so Interplast is an organization of doctors in Berlin that are plastic surgeons, and they have a Interplast Paraguay. They have a every 2 years a kind of I don't know what to call it, but a trip that they do for 2 weeks. Now, why Paraguay? Paraguay is the poorest country in South America, and there's indigenous people, and because the women, when they're pregnant, are not eating properly, they have the wrong vitamins. A lot of the children that are born there have these cleft mouths, where they can't eat, where it's completely open. And so the doctors go there to operate on these children, smallest sometimes being only 10 days old, because these are very poor people, indigenous, who don't have any insurance. And so the plastic surgeons go there every other year for 2 weeks and set up a makeshift hospital in the forest, in the jungle. And they always go at the same time of year, and the people know, and then they walk for days to come to this clinic to get support. And what we've been able to do is we've been able to use our software, where we basically give the technicians there an iPad. So when the person comes, you don't have any information about the person, right? We have like a questionnaire on the iPad that we can fill out. We take pictures of the children, of their mouths or their burns, and then we track this in Salesforce. We have the person's name, when they got operated on, all of the doctor's report. And then when they come back 2 years later, oftentimes they have to then have a follow-up visit with the people. So they ask the people to come back in 2 years. And then Salesforce is able to show the doctors, in the middle of the jungle, the pictures. They can check and see how well it's healed, and they have all the information about the person so that they can help them. What we also do in Salesforce is we have like a donation set up. So because the only way that they can go to Paraguay is through donations, so we basically have like different Now, before the pandemic, we had concerts that we did where
Yes.
artists that, came for free, like in Berlin, played piano, and we would sell the tickets, and all of that money would go to be collected for the doctors. And we would go to like Chris Kindle markets at Christmas time. The kids in South America would color Christmas cards for us, and we'd sell them on the Christmas
Wow.
market. So all of that was a donation. So when pandemic came and that fell away, I was trying to think about how I could help them get money, because I wanted the doctors to be able to fly to Paraguay. Now they had to pause their trip anyway, but my boss gave me this great idea. He says, Pamela, why don't you combine your trip across the Alps with helping Interclass? So what I decided to do was to set up a GoFundMe page. So I set up a GoFundMe page, and my goal was just to collect 1,000 euros, and I ended up collecting 3,000 euros.
Wow.
And I then said, whatever money I get, I will match it. So I
Match it.
I matched 3,000, and then Salesforce has, on top of this 111 program, they match any donations you make. So any donation that I make to any nonprofit, they also double it. So I got 3,000 euros on top from Salesforce. So I was able to give Interclass 9,000 euros, and it was a great experience for me riding across the Alps, because honestly, I think it was like day 4. My legs were killing me. I wanted to stop. I wanted to throw my bike in the river, and I knew that everybody was rooting for me, and I had a purpose for this Interplast. And so I finished my journey because I didn't want to give up, and it was very inspirational. And obviously, on the every day we did about 100 kilometers. We stopped at hotels. People were asking what we were doing and why we were doing it. And when I told them that I was doing it for Interplast, and they were very inspired, and I started to realize how this type of action that I'm doing is not just for me, but inspires other people. And I also wrote a blog on LinkedIn about my journey, why I did it, what I learned from the journey. But it was definitely one of the highlights of my life to, first of all, to give back, but also to have that experience about how you can push your body and your mind when you're ready to give up, if you're doing something good for others, and it's not about you, it's not selfish. And then I've heard so many amazing stories from people on my team that have been able to help people, and the whole thing starts at Salesforce on your first day at work. So when I started there, I flew for boot camp. Most companies also say Microsoft had boot camp. So I flew, like within the first month, I flew to San Francisco for boot camp. And the very first day, the first thing you do is you do this nonprofit thing. We went to a food bank, and we all had to put on like these, shower caps. And we spent the whole day bagging up food for needless people in San Francisco. And it was amazing, because I had all these boot camps and other companies, but it bonded in a different way, because you were humble, you were, trying to do something good. And we now have a lot of people joining Salesforce because of this 111 program, because they feel like, okay, I'm earning a lot of money, but I want to give back, I want to do something. And the company helps kind of to organize it, and gives you, the opportunity to help, different groups. At Salesforce, we have team meetings, but we always do something for the community. So we'll do something like we'll pick up trash, or recently we helped here in Munich. There's a Tabaluga house for kids that are mistreated, and they didn't know how to set up their computer system and their security. So we spent 2 days with them for free, setting everything up and getting up. Or we'll paint, a house like a Ronald McDonald type of house where there's cancer kids. We'll paint it for them and stuff like that. And so we do it on our team meeting. So we'll do like one day where we do a meeting, and then the next day, instead of, I don't know, going on a balloon ride or, going on a city tour, we will do some type of work.
And I was reading Accenture Fjord Interactive report, I think 2 years ago, when the COVID just started to be part of our world and our realities. And what I have read there is, and that really triggered me and triggered us as a company to start thinking about something like that, is that the millennials and the people will now be much more looking into companies which have a bigger purpose,
Yeah,
like a high purpose, something beyond, because it's not just about getting the money, but
no.
it's we are part of the planet. We are something
Yes.
bigger than ourselves. And also, as you are talking, you're not talking about me, but you're talking about us, we in Salesforce. And I think with that amazing power which you have, and so many employees, the ripple effects are
Yeah.
just like huge, 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 huge.
Yeah, because our customers and our partners see us doing that. I've had a lot of partners say, "Hey, Pamela, can we join you on one of these, adventures, activities that you're doing?" So it does give a different feeling to both the customer and partners, about that we're all trying to make the world a better place. And we just recently this year we have 4 core values. So trust, customer success, innovation, and quality. And this year we added a 5th one called sustainability. So the other thing you might want to think about is sustainability. Millennials are thinking a lot, of course, with the planet sustainability. So you're taking also the environment, like planting trees and doing something for the community, or something for an entity, a nonprofit entity, or something like that.
Absolutely. And Pamela, I want to go back to this Interplus. Why did you choose? Because you were able to choose a cause, right? Like it was you. It was not Salesforce, but they gave you the platform and you could choose whatever you could. But I was just wondering, well, why kids? Why Interplus?
It wasn't actually that that brilliant that I selected it. So the Germany country leader, his assistant Jenny, she knows the main surgeon who started this. She's in Berlin and she's German, and they were friends. And Jenny left Salesforce, and it was like one of her heart was in this nonprofit. And she said, Pamela, I don't want it to die at Salesforce. I want it to give it to somebody who I know will keep it going and will do something with it. So she said, would you take it on? Because I know you will, continue to drive it forward. So I took it on when she left, I don't know, about 8 years ago. And then we had them on the CBIT, actually, when there used to be CBIT. You can look on the internet. There's a video, actually, of the doctor. We did a video to kind of talk about, how we help them, and, how thankful she is about Salesforce and what we've been able to do. Ones like, I remember there's this famous, and I forgot her name right now, there's this famous Czech model. She was like a Victoria's Secret model. She's very famous. From Czech. Yeah. Other people who can move things is impressive. So, she came to Dreamforce, but we've also had people like Bono from U2 do a concert. They do concerts for us for free, because all of the money that we collect when we do these concerts, we give to some nonprofit, right? Yes, so Mark Benioff started a hospital, a children's hospital for children. He handles any type of child, whether they have insurance or not, and he's built up the whole hospital. And then these type of concerts, all of the money goes to he doesn't take any of the money. And so I think, according to COVID, I think these type of who can do more, right? If you get people of a platform and have a voice. They have a voice, right? And he met a lot of these people also at the World Economic Forum in Davos, and has talked about, also at Davos, has talked about, to your point, giving back. What does that mean? How do people feel? What are you doing for the environment, the community? He talks a lot about that, and I think then meets, people like will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas, and they all then come and talk, and they have a voice, and then it kind of just goes. And I think that, it's hard to do that, but I think that's when people have a purpose, it just changes it completely.
It's just nice to see that we can help in the other world. And this is also the reason why I'm started having these conversations, is because to spread the world, and also just go beyond like why people do something for somebody else.
Yeah.
You were saying, like, it's this push, this purpose, right? It's not like there is a reason why people could not do it. Like, you would not have to do it. Yes, you joined the company, but you did it because you were drawn to it, right?
I think it's bigger than that, Maria. I think that if we do these type of things, we show other people that we help each other, and we need to change the world. It's too much stuck on power, economics, these type of things, where if we were all to help somebody else, the world would be a different place, and we'd have more empathy for each other. We wouldn't have this hatred. We wouldn't, so I think that, this kind of capitalism has made everybody kind of just think about themselves, get ahead faster, get more money, bigger cars. But why does it even have to get that far? Like, why can you not appreciate that you're healthy and that you want to help other people? And why couldn't you do something for others so that they have a nice community, a nice neighborhood? And I think it's that, and it just kind of starts. And so for me, it's just a bigger thing that we need to all have more understanding for each other. That some people don't always pick out these devastating things that happen to them. And I think by doing something good, it changes your mindset, and you start to realize like what's important in life. And if we were all to think like that, I think the world would be totally different, where people have a need and then how we can put them together. And I think that is just would be great maybe to do a platform, like to say, okay, who needs help, and then find people that are willing to help and give back. Because it's not about getting recognized or getting money. It's about just the feeling that you've helped somebody else. It's really
the feeling, right?
Yeah.
What is the feeling for you?
The feeling is that it's not about me. I'm not being selfish, but I'm able to help somebody else, and it's just a warm feeling that somebody that has something awful happen to them, that I can maybe make their life better, and they have a chance, especially with these kids, a chance for a normal life where they can eat again, they can drink again, they can move their hands. I mean, things that we totally take for granted. And they have their whole life ahead of them, right? Because they're small children, and they have their whole life ahead of them, and to give them that opportunity. And I think if we believe in them and invest in them, even though they're poor, they will probably never forget that, and maybe then they will be motivated to do something also for their people. And it just kind of goes on, and it's like a circle, and it gets better and better each time. So.
Sometimes these problems are for me too big, and then I get really depressed, like what do we do with the oceans? And then I'm thinking, I have 2 kids, they are teenagers. How crazy did we kind of change the world with the Industrial Revolution? Just David Attenborough was talking like how much wildlife disappeared over a course of one person's lifetime. And that's why I'm just trying to find a way, like, how can I do these contributions?
I think the key thing is not to get overwhelmed by things, but just start somewhere. Every little bit helps, right? Every little bit helps.
And I would just love to give the voice to these stories and make them fly, give them wings, and find the ways how to just spread them. Yeah. So it's about it's the motivation of people to go and do something more.
Keep me up to speed on how this goes. I'm really interested to see your journey.
Yeah. I will. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.